Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our Guts and Glory workshop. We're going to be talking about healing our body from the inside. We realize there could be lots of questions. Dr. Justine is available. You can feel free to give her a text at 647-987-9355. I wanted to welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani here with us today. Dr. Justine is our leader here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. She is a popular motivational speaker in schools, in local businesses, and with charities. And she believes that everyone deserves a healthcare team that focuses on prevention, optimal health, and open communication. We also have Dr. Udani here with us today, and she's our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. She has some areas of expertise, including skin conditions, chronic pain, health, women's health, and digestion. So she actually has this philosophy, and it is amazing that she genuinely believes everyone has the ability to make healthy and long-lasting changes. Please help me welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani with us here today.
Thanks, Angela. We are ready for, guts and glory. I mean, this is such an important talk, but always we have lots of important information to share with you. And we're looking forward to other topics, constantly changing it up to help learn one new thing a week. If you do one change a week, imagine that's over 50 changes in the year. Multiply that by 10 years. We've been doing this now for over 2 years. That's still almost 500 changes. Come on, that's huge in improving our health, just one step a week. So we do have a talk on mental health coming up, how to just get rid of those blues, how to improve your overall energy. It's going to cover different things that you can do at home for free that can help you just start your day with a little bit more energy, a little bit more pizzazz, and just, with a big smile, right? That's super important. We're going to talk about dopamine fasting, irritable bowel, sugar cravings, what cravings are, how to manage cravings. It's just a series on really managing our mind and how our mind affects our choices. So, great series, share with friends. Today, our mission is really to understand our gut health and how our mind and nervous system relates to our gut health, how we can make better choices, and the importance of the microbiome in our gut health. So, Dr. Udani is amazing in this area. She's helped so many of my patients in understanding gut health because honestly, when our gut health is off, everything's off. A lot of times I know many of our patients think, well, it's, gut health only has to do with going to the bathroom, whether you have constipation and diarrhea, and then that's it. But I know for sure gut health is related to our energy, it's related to moods, it's related to depression, it's related to aches and pains and arthritis. So this is such an important talk for all of us to improve our ability to get rid of waste. All of us have waste, guys. None of us are perfect inside and out. We still need to get food, get junk out. So that's the purpose of today, understanding how we can really eliminate better, so keep the good stuff in and get the bad stuff out. So I'm so happy to be doing this with Dr. Udani. Let's get started.
Thank you so much, Dr. Justine. Hi, everybody. So yes, as Dr. Justine mentioned, our digestive system is such an important part of our everyday life. And I think you know how important it is when you start to get these digestive issues, because that can really affect your day-to-day life. Like imagine being bloated as soon as you wake up, or having cramps all the time, and you need to go to the washroom all the time. Like once you really experience these symptoms, or having heartburn every time you eat something, this can be every day. And once you realize like how it can affect everyday life, you really start to realize how important the digestive system is. And like Dr. Justine mentioned, it really does affect our mood, our energy levels, our focus, even our sleep. So let's dive really deep into our digestive system. So as you can see in this image, we have, it's composed of this one long tube that goes from our mouth all the way to our anus. So this tube has our stomach, it has our small intestines and our large intestines, and that primarily works to digest food and absorb food. But we also have the liver, the pancreas, and gallbladder that kind of act as supportive organs to help with this process. So there's a lot going on with our digestive system, and we're going to dive into the responsibilities of it. So the three key responsibilities of the system is, of course, we want to digest food. We want to make sure the food we eat is completely broken down into smaller particles, like especially meats, like steak, things like proteins, carbohydrates, pastas, the breads we eat, the fruits and veggies we eat. We want to make sure that we have enough power to break all of those things up, and it's ready for digestion. And then we want to make sure that we can absorb it. We want to have a healthy lining in the digestive system that allows the absorption of all of this stuff, because if we don't absorb it, we don't get the nutrients, we don't get the energy that we need. And then the third one is elimination. So we want to make sure that what we eat, after we digest it and absorb it, it actually gets out of us. So this is where, a lot of us might have problems. We might think, oh, it's normal to go every other day, a couple times a week. Actually, no, it's not. We want to optimize elimination. We also don't want you to be going 7 times a day, so that's also not correct. So how to find the optimal time and how to optimize this is really important too. So nutrients really does equal function. We want to make sure that we have a really good digestion so that we can break down all the good food that we're eating and extract the nutrients from them. So for example, protein, right? When we eat protein, it breaks down to something called amino acids that our bodies use to build cells, hair, nails, energy, our immune system, all of those things. So same thing with breads and carbohydrates, that is used for energy levels. So we want to make sure that these nutrients, we're able to absorb it, because that's what helps us give the energy, and also helps with all the other things in our that we need. Another really important thing is that the gut health is so important for your immune system, because 70% of your immune system is actually in the gut. It kind of surrounds the intestines. And that's because, just in case there's a bacteria like E. coli, for example, the bad bug that gives you diarrhea. If, for example, it gets through and it gets into the digestive system, we have the immune system to kind of protect us from these bad bugs. But it's also important because our immune system also learns from our digestive system. We have good bacteria like probiotics that teach the immune system how to behave, so that it's not going all crazy and all like attacking every little food particle and things like that comes in. And there's a big connection between the gut and the brain. So I think one of the easiest examples I can give myself is whenever I'm nervous, I always feel the butterflies in my stomach, or I always feel really queasy and that like I need to sometimes go to the washroom. So there's a huge connection. And even 90% of your body's serotonin, so this is one of our feel-good neurotransmitters, is produced in the gut. So a lot of times when I see patients that have gut issues, I also see that they have anxiety or depression, because there's a big connection with how much serotonin is produced that affects how we feel. So there's a big connection with the gut and the brain, that when the gut is off, the brain health, our mood, and our sleep can have a huge impact with that too.
And Dr. Udani, I feel exactly the same way. Like if I got a big test, a big presentation, I can have an upset stomach, feel like that I can't digest my food the same, or maybe I don't want to eat. I can find even have an upset stomach, I don't sleep as well the night before. So we know that brain gut reaction can happen, and we know even right before big events, you almost want to go to bathroom right before a big event. So the connection is so clear between our mind, our nervous system, and our gut health.
Yes. Absolutely, Dr. Justine. Like what you mentioned about the nervous system is so key too, because there's a lot of nerves, that kind of comes from the spine and is connected to the digestive system, as I'm sure you'll talk about later in the talk. So what are some warning signs for to know that you have something wrong with your digestive system. So these are things to watch for that we're going to dive into. So that way, you might think this is normal, but it's actually not normal. So first thing is, what goes in must come out. So imagine a drain that it needs to be clear, right? So you put in a lot of things, and you got to make sure that whatever you put in has to come out. So even think about like a garbage chute, for example, right? If you keep putting garbage out, and it needs to come out, otherwise it can get stuck. So ideally, what you want to make sure is that you want to be able to be regular. So constipation is one of those warning signs that we want to watch out for. And naturally, this is something that I really do talk with a lot of my patients, because when they come into my office, I ask them, so how often do you go to the washroom? Are you going once a day? Are you going multiple times a day? What's the ratio? And sometimes they're not really aware of it either. They're trying to figure out, like, okay, how often do I really go? But ideally, you do want to go at least once a day to keep the pipes clean, as we say. So basically, this is where we want to make sure that we keep you regular. So let's dive a little bit deeper into how do we figure out. So first, we got to see how often you're going, okay? So the frequency of your bowel movements and the consistency. So what does it look like? Is it easy to pass? Are you straining? Like what is, like, how's the size of it, So what's the consistency? And the number 3 is color. So a lot of times when patients come to see me, I show them a stool chart called Bristol Stool Chart that explains exactly what we just talked about. And don't worry, this is something as naturopaths we're really, really familiar with. We want to talk about your poop because it gives us a sign about what's going on the inside. Okay, so as you can see here, there's 7 different types. So I'm going to go through each type and let you know which one is healthy, which one is not so healthy. So if you're like, I'm kind of this type, and then you can know what's optimal. So type 1 is this, we call it like rabbit poop. So like the little pellets or tiny little hard round balls. So if you're passing this is actually constipation. So even if you're passing this once a day, you're actually constipated. So you might be dehydrated. There might be something else going on too. Type 2 is it's a little lumpy and there's more cracks. So it looks a little bit drier, but it holds together. So this is still considered a little constipated. Type 3 is more of a sausage shape, but it has a little bit of cracks. So this is actually not bad. So it should be easy to pass, but you should still a little bit of cracks. That's okay. That's normal. Type 4 is ideal. Okay, so it's a nice, long, smooth sausage shape, super easy to pass. You're in the washroom for maybe 5 minutes, you're done, you're not straining, nothing like that. So that's really good too. So this is the ideal normal that we're looking for, is type 4. Type 5 and type 6 are more like runny. Maybe the type 5 one, the pieces kind of fall apart when you flush. So that means you're lacking in fiber and you need something to kind of hold the shape. Same with type 6. This tends to be a little bit more liquidy. So you're more likely to be, that's more for diarrhea type as well. And type 7 is pure water, like pure liquid. So there's no shape, nothing. You might even see some undigested food. So that is also not normal. That is diarrhea and can be because of some kind of infection or food sensitivity, something like that. So we also want to look at the color of the stool as well. So it's okay, before you flush, take a good look at what's in the bowl. And I know you might feel like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like, it's kind of nasty. But think about it. It's just the food you ate the day before, So there's nothing to really feel icky about it. Just think of it that way. Okay. So if it looks green, then that could be because of, you might have had a lot of green food, like a smoothie, lots of vegetables. But it could also be sometimes food poisoning, for example, too. So especially if you have diarrhea and it's green, that could be one of those signs. White is something you actually do not want. So I actually had a patient that had white stool, And she ended up going to the hospital, the emergency room, because there was a big, she had lots of gallstones. So that was like preventing the gallbladder from releasing bile, which is what actually colors our stool. So if you see that, please, that is not a good sign, okay? Black stool can also mean that there is either some bleeding that happened a little bit higher up, or it could also mean you've been having some charcoal supplements that can color the stool black too. Iron supplements can also color it a little bit really dark brown and black as well. Red, like if it's bright red, it could be that you ate red food like beets, for example. It could also mean that there's some bleeding that's going on a little bit in the rectal area. So the closer it is to like the lower part of the digestive tract, the more red you might see. So it's not normal to see blood in your stool, so you want to check out what's going on. Like, you got to see, is there hemorrhoids or is there something more serious? So if you do see this, please consult your naturopathic doctor, says myself, so that we can figure out what is really going on. Yellow can be normal. It can also mean that you've eaten some, yellow foods. Sometimes it could be also be from heartburn or an infection. Brown is the ideal normal stool. Ideal color you want to see is that like the brown color that's kind of shown in this image. So what is the frequency? So think about it. If you're eating 3 good meals a day, you should be going at least once a day, okay? Because you don't want to go like once a week, okay, or twice a week. That doesn't make sense, right? Like, so you want to keep the pipes clean. So frequency should really be equal to how much food you're eating and the amount of food, the times that you're eating as well. So I always say, try to aim for at least once a day, or like a good sized bowel movement. But if you can't, you can do 2 to 3 a day is okay as well.
So does this change, Dr. Udani, with age? Because, you think of an infant and they might have, especially, breastfeeding. I imagine that when I was breastfeeding, the kids would have their poop from their ears, to their knees kind of thing. And then as they got a little older, still they could have bowel movements multiple times during the day. So as we get older, does this frequency change? And is that a good thing? Like, sometimes we talk to seniors and then they're saying, I'm once a week and that's normal.
That's so true, Dr. Justine, like what she said about the frequency, because you're right. Like, sometimes, in a baby, you might have diarrhea, right? And you might get like lots of loose stools because they're still trying to get used to the foods and their digestive system's still young. And that's, you got to look for signs of like dehydration, right? In a baby, you want to make sure they're not losing too much fluid. So this could be, you can check their skin, their how tired they look. You can, of course, bring them to do a well child check so that I could see how they're doing with their dehydration. And then you want to go to the other end of the spectrum, where you're right. There's a lot of seniors that are constipated. So that's actually that's not normal either. You want to be able to go at least once a day, because you don't want to hold on to all of this. So yes, our digestive system does slow down as we get older. That's true. But being constipated could actually be because of sometimes the medications that they're on that can slow things down too. So I have actually seen quite a few senior patients that are constipated. So we try to gently help it, because it does affect their energy levels, does affect their sleep, and aches and pains can get worse too if they're constipated.
And that's exactly what I've noticed. As some seniors are going to the bathroom once a week and they don't necessarily have stomach pain, so they think that's normal, but they have achy knees and achy fingers. And they just blame it on arthritis, and they don't realize that arthritis can be improved by improving their digestive system and their microbiome. And that's why we're doing this talk. This is so important for our children, and for all of us, but for our seniors. If you're trying to improve your overall energy, health, moods, arthritis, we need to improve that microbiome as well. And I highly recommend talking to Dr. Udani, talking to a naturopath, a nutritionist, to make sure that you are eliminating with the right color, the right consistency, the right frequency. And it kind of reminds me of like my 6-year-old son when he was little, and he just loved to look at the toilet and say how big it was, at 6 years of age. So, but it's okay, guys. Like, this is normal. We want to make sure that, we are eliminating in a healthy way, so that other systems we can be monitoring are functioning well.
And I just want to add to that, Dr. Justine, before you start. I used to think it was normal just to go every other day. And you're right, I didn't have any stomach issues. I wasn't really bloated, but I had a lot of acne. So that was like what was my sign that, okay, I'm holding on to too many toxins and I need to be more regular. So sometimes it just shows up on your skin too, and you don't really realize that until you make the connection.
And I have seen in my family, when they, had Christmas dinner kind of thing, too much alcohol for a family party, and they'll talk about acid reflux and that they need to sleep like more erect, more pillows because of the acid reflux. But honestly, yes, you want to monitor alcohol, the foods going in, but if your digestive system is functioning optimally, you can normally manage that better. So, acid reflux, heartburn, if you're getting that, and especially, on a frequent basis, that means like once a month and not once a day. If you're getting that, that means that you want to work at what we're talking about to improve this microbiome.
Absolutely.
So today we're talking about some of these warning signs, and that's where we're going through. The obvious ones are the bloating, the abdominal pain, the constipation, the diarrhea. Um, the infrequent bowel movements. But just like we were talking about, there's so many that are not obvious. The headaches, the skin issues, the acid reflux, the achy joints, the depression, the lack of energy, the I need a coffee in the morning sensation. So this goes way bigger than just stomach issues. And so that's why it's so important that everybody, just like you get your heart checked, your eyes checked, your teeth checked, your spine, nervous system checked, we want to make sure we're eliminating correctly. So when we go to what is dysbiosis, that is when we don't have a balance in the bacteria, in all the good and the bad stuff in our gut. All of us have healthy bacteria in our gut, but sometimes it can take over and we don't even realize it. And this is where we want to talk to a specialist. And it's great to do a stool sample with your medical doctor. We're not knocking that, but it isn't necessarily their focus to talk to you about the ways that you can improve your stool and improve your overall health. They look for disease processes, whereas we're looking for optimizing your function and looking to try and find the problem before it becomes a disease. And isn't that what all of us want? We don't want to wait till we're sick. We want to be able to find challenges before we're sick, and we want to be able to improve that healthy bacteria in our body, the good bugs, and get rid of this dysbiosis. And that can be affected not just by the foods, but also toxins in our environment. And there's toxins everywhere. I mean, none of us can get away from it, whether it's in the food or the water we drink, but it's also just in the environment that we breathe in. And so that's another reason why all of us are susceptible to challenges to dysbiosis, and they need to sort of take into account at least annually to have a conversation at least annually with your naturopath. How are you eliminating, and are you eliminating well?
Yes, and I kind of want to start this topic with a little bit of an analogy, Dr. Justine. And we look at, like, for example, a car that has a little bit of rust in it. If we don't take care of, if we don't take it to the mechanic to do a rust proof, the rust can grow and it can, affect how you're driving the car. So over time, if you don't kind of stay proactive, the rust can grow. It can go into the engine and can affect how we're driving it. So like that, kind of want to think about all of the dysbiosis as the little rust that grows. And if we don't take care of that, it can become way bigger. It can result in Crohn's, IBD, even cancer. So this is where we want to make sure that we stop it before it goes to that point. So one of these signs is something called small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or called SIBO. So you might have heard this on when you type it on Google. This is a very pretty common thing, actually. A lot of people have, and some of the symptoms are upset stomach. You're tired. There's could be skin issues, eczema, acne. Unintentionally, you're gaining weight, or like you're one of the most common things is you wake up and you're bloated, like you're not having eaten food and you're still bloated. You have lots of sensitivities to food. So like, let's say you were able to eat pizza, like no tomorrow, and now you can't even have one slice of pizza without rushing to the washroom. So lots of constipation or diarrhea can happen, sleep issues, and bloating. So what's going on? There's actually an overgrowth of the bad bacteria in your small intestine. And this is what dysbiosis is. It's the balance has been lost now. There's too much of the bad guys. And sometimes when patients come see me with these symptoms, they have a lot of burping, a lot of cramping, a lot of gas that they're passing. So these are all signs that they actually can have SIBO. And sometimes their family doctor might just say, "Oh, you have IBS." Irritable bowel syndrome. There's really nothing much we can do, because they're more trained to manage like more serious, like let's say like cancer or about irritable bowel disease. So they're not really sure what to do. So this is where a naturopath, like, we're really well trained to how to figure out SIBO, how to really heal irritable bowel syndrome, because actually a huge percentage of IBS is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So once we control this overgrowth, you can really notice changes in your body, because these bacteria, these microbes, really can release a lot of toxins that upset our digestive system. So we're going to also talk about how they upset our digestive system, because you might be wondering, okay, these are bugs in our gut, sure, but how are they affecting the way I feel? How is it affecting my joints? How is it affecting my energy, my sleep? So how they're doing it is because of leaky gut. So leaky gut, think about it like your gut is a tube, right? So there's holes in the tube, and these bugs are able to come through and get into your bloodstream. So it could be it could be their toxic byproducts as well. And they can kind of go all through your body and cause a lot of inflammation. So leaky gut is an inflammatory condition that happens because of the overgrowth of bacteria, parasites, and fungi and yeast. And once this kind of happens, it's you want to make sure that we really treat it, because it can get worse. The holes can get bigger and bigger. You can even have food sensitivities to things like gluten, dairy, eggs, and all kinds of foods. So we do actually testing for food sensitivities in my office. We do testing to see what kind of bugs you might be having. So there's really comprehensive stool tests that we could do to figure out which of the bad ones do you have and how can we get rid of them in a holistic and healthy way. So let's talk. Sorry, I just want to do a little bit here that the lining of the gut. So think about your skin, right? Your skin is 7 cell layers thick. So it's pretty hardy. It can handle a lot of stuff. But the gut lining, the lining inside the tube, it's only 1 cell layer thick. So it's super fragile, So compare that to tissue paper versus cardboard, It's really easy to tear up. So this is why a lot of us can have these digestive issues, because our lining is not strong enough to handle it either.
Thanks so much, Dr. Udani. Exactly. It's like tissue paper, right? So, and we don't realize that it can be easily damaged. And this inflammatory response can be the response of many, many diseases. So we know gut or inflammation in general leads to many, many other health conditions that we want to be assessed, and you want to be able to see your naturopath, have your nutrition, have your gut health assessed, like we said, annually at the minimum, to have that conversation. And this takes time, guys. It's not something that you can do quickly, or all these tests that you can do quickly, but it is important about taking care of that tube that we all use on a regular basis, right? We're all eating pretty much every single day. So ways to reset the gut, we want to take a look at the 5 essentials. So when we look at maximizing with Max Living, we talk about maximizing our mind. And you say, what's that have to do with your gut health? Well, it's our mind that chooses and helps us make the right choices to follow our cravings versus what we need versus what we want. And many of us make the choices of what we want versus what we need. So we do need to control that mindset. And that's why we have so many talks coming up about cravings. We want to look at the right foods, maximizing our nutrition and the foods that are going in. And we're going to talk about that soon. And we do have a talk about irritable bowel, IBS, coming up soon as well. We want to maximize our exercise because we're going to talk about that, how that helps get the system moving. We want to maximize our nervous system. As we talked about, the brain controls all function in the body. And of course, minimizing toxins, which we talked about, that elimination process. So the first step with maximizing our nutrition, once we have that right mindset to know what we need, next step is to choose and make those choices available easily for those whole foods. And so that really means making a shopping list, right? When we go shopping, if we don't have a list, we tend to, our eyes pick what we want, not our brains. Our tummy picks what we want. And we're usually hungry, so we pick things that are fast and easy. So having a shopping list, having a plan, I definitely recommend the Sunday planning. My husband loves the coupons. He goes through the coupons and then try and picks his meals based on what's on sale. But there's a plan. There's something that's an action step in place, as well as setting some minimum standards for our nutrition, adding those healthy fats on a regular basis. For example, adding water, making sure that we are getting at least half our body weight in water every single day, just a very minimum standard that will help our digestion, and looking for healthier sources of water. So you're careful, like in our office, you're welcome to fill up your water bottles every time you come. But the tap water isn't the best, the bottled water isn't the best. And we have done talks on that. So getting our fiber, getting our greens, careful of our sources that were free range, wild proteins, in order to make sure we're putting good gas in the tank. And we're going to cover right now some of those top gut healing foods. So if we took at the top of the one that I mentioned at the beginning, healthy fats. So most of us know about avocados, but nuts, seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. We want to be able to have, almonds, macadamia nuts, adding the good healthy fats, the healthy fish, sardines. That is going to help basically heal your gut. So we're looking for more omega-3s.
I want to just add something for that, Dr. Justine, that you actually do want a little bit of fat because that actually helps your gut, like the digestion, to keep moving. So it can actually improve constipation because fat helps things move a little bit better because the gallbladder helps break it down. So just want to add that there.
Thank you. Dr. Udani, you're going over probiotic-rich foods?
Yes, probiotic-rich foods is another amazing addition to your diet. So this doesn't have to be, a big bowl of it. You can have it like a little as a side to your everyday meal. So some things that I prefer is things like that are fermented, like sauerkraut or kimchi or kefir. So these are all really good fermented foods that contain the good bacteria that our gut needs. So adding this to our diet can really help kind of give the gut the good bacteria, and also increasing fiber can also help with feeding the good bacteria in your gut. So these bacteria really help improve our energy levels, our mood as well. So the probiotic rich foods, having them added, and this doesn't have to be overwhelming. You can just have it like as a side for one of the meals, and then you can do it for all three after you get you get used to it. And I personally love kimchi. Like I find it really, really tasty. It's not spicy. It just adds a really nice flavor to your meals. Another great one is bone broth. So bone broth is actually can be really easy to make. You just can put any kind of chicken bones, anything that could be from leftovers, turkey, for example, too, and you could put some vegetables in there if you like, and just leave it in for low simmer with lots of water for about 4 hours or so, and you have this amazing healthy bone broth. But if that's like sounds a little too much work, you can also get this from a lot of supermarkets right now. So bone broth contains lots of gut healing collagen, protein, and lots of nutrients and minerals from the bone. So this is also great to add to your diet, and it actually tastes pretty good. Like it tastes like it's also great to use as a stock for soup as well. So I like to make it at home. I add lots of like herbs in there too, and then I just have it stored in the fridge. So whenever I need a little bit of a boost or pick me up, I just take like a glass of that.
Cool. All right. I, being vegetarian, don't necessarily do the bone broth. My husband does, and has used it with my son and as well. But for me, that's a little more challenging. But I love berries, and so you want those low glycemic fruit. So just a little bit of berries a day can make a big difference. And it also just gives you that treat. So you're not getting sugar dependent on things that are like the chocolate bars or the other areas that we could be searching for that craving for a sweet tooth. So berries are low glycemic and definitely a great choice for improving our digestion and just trying to limit things that are like mangoes, for example, and pineapples. Even though they taste awesome, that's not something that we want to do daily, perhaps because that is higher in the glycemic index, especially if you have to be concerned about weight gain.
Yes, for sure. And also adding in different herbs like ginger. So I love having ginger. You can do like fresh ginger sliced or even in tea form. My mom likes to actually like put it like just really grind it in a mortar and pestle. And she just likes to kind of use that. So ginger is really good for digestion. It can help with any kind of bloating in the stomach. It's anti-inflammatory. And you might think, oh, it's really like it has a little bit of a burn to it, so should I really use it in my stomach? Actually you will notice that there's a benefit to using ginger because it helps digest food as well. So it's super anti-inflammatory. You can have it in really a lot of different forms. We also use it in our tea as well. It gives it a really nice warming flavor. And during COVID and the flu season, that's all we did: ginger and honey every day, and that really helps reduce any kind of inflammation and boost your immune system too. And it is amazing for nausea and just reducing bloating. So if you're ever feeling nauseous, have a piece of ginger because it can really help reduce that vomiting and the nausea feeling.
I have a question. I know when I grew up, my mom thought, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it's not, is she would have ginger ale and make the flat ginger ale so it wouldn't have the bubbles. And that's what she would give me if my immune system was down or I had poor digestion. That's not real ginger.
It's not, no. I know. I think that's more just the mental, like oh, it has ginger in it. It might be healthy for you. But no, there's a lot of sugar in ginger ale, so it's better
So
to
it's just put liquids in, and I think that's the only reason why is as a kid, it made me drink something and feel like I was having a treat because I got pop, even though it was flat. But that ginger ale does not replace pure ginger.
No, it does not. Yes. That's a good one because I do hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I had ginger ale and I feel really good." And that's that gut brain connection. You think, "Oh, it's healthy for you, so you're going to feel a little bit good." But no, not really. There's a lot of sugar and other added stuff. It's basically pop. Yes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the 3 R's of healing the gut. So we talked about what can cause issues in the gut, like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO. But now, how can we actually heal the gut? So this is a protocol that I usually do with a lot of my patients that come in, and this can change from person to person. So depending on what we find, how bad your symptoms are, we want to kind of, this is why we want to really fit into your lifestyle and who you are. So we want to individualize it. So let's talk about the 3 R's. So first, we want to remove the bad bugs, right? The bad guys. And first, I always do some testing to see how bad it is the condition. So you also want to test, don't guess. And then we look at how can we remove the bad bacteria, okay? Bad bacteria, bad yeast, parasites, and things like that. So there's a lot of amazing talks we've done actually on how to eliminate, the gut dysbiosis. But there's lots of herbs I use, lots of supplements and nutrients, and there's a lot of options out there. So this is where we don't want you to feel confused. If you are experiencing these issues, come and see me or Sabine, so we can figure out what products you need, because you don't need to go on 10 different products to remove these things. We can manage it much better. So this is the first step, though. We want to make sure that we remove as many of the bad bugs as possible. And this is also where we want to make sure that you're getting them out of your body. So imagine you're constipated and you're removing them. There's nowhere for them to go, right? So they kind of can stay back. So this is where we want to address all the other different points, like improving your constipation, making sure you're regular, so that way this process is done the best way you can. Then we go into repair, and also so this is where we want to repair the leaky gut, right? We want to repair the holes that were created by the bacteria, so that way we don't get this back in the future again. So there's a lot of gut healing products that we can use. So for example, bone broth is great at healing the gut. Probiotic rich foods can be really good for healing the gut too. So this is phase 2 though. So we want to see how you do with phase 1, and then we look at repairing the lining afterwards. You can also, this is also where I would add more, let's say, for example, if you have trouble with digesting foods, might add some digestive enzymes. So there's a lot of options. So my goal is for you to not feel overwhelmed, and to know that, you can always contact me so that we can set up a plan for you. Then we want to go into re-inoculating or seeding the good bacteria into the gut again. So this is where we want to increase our probiotics. We want to add probiotic-friendly foods to help the good bacteria grow, so that way it helps reduce the inflammation. It helps to keep the gut healthy. So this is the last stage of how to heal this process. And, this can actually change from person to person, how long this whole thing can last. Because let's say you had gut issues for years, that means we might need to spend anywhere between 3 to 6 months, healing the gut. Thankfully, the gut lining and the gut digestive system is really responsive. It's really responds pretty well to treatment. So I would say, 6 months, and you should start to feel significantly better. So can you imagine that, like having years of issues, and after 6 months that you feel kind of back to yourself again? So this can be really amazing to see in my patients, when they start to feel this way.
So I love it. The 3 R's, everyone, but definitely seeing a naturopath, a nutritionist, getting support through the process. So yes, on our website, we have some of the digestive healing products that you can order online. The Max GI helps you with the R, the removing the junk. The digestive enzymes help with repairing, so remove, repair, and the probiotics help with the inoculate. But with those 3 R's, I definitely recommend that you don't just do this on your own. Get a support system, because you want to make sure you're doing the right step at the right time in a way that's going to support your health and not cause more problems. For example, going through the removing in the digestive system, sometimes you can create more symptoms initially as you're removing those toxins, and you want to know what's normal, what's not normal as those symptoms increase before you get to the repair component. The next part of having a naturopath on your team is just, a coach, but also somebody to support you, because there's lots of times where you're going to want to quit. right? You're going to want to go back to your old habits. Most of us do, or we just get off track and we need someone to kind of give us a kick in the butt to get back onto our goals. So having regular visits, regular coaching sessions helps us make better choices over time, because when we try and make these quick changes, usually we don't stick with it. It only lasts a short period of time, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. Just like a diet, it doesn't last. And gut health changes are something we're looking for as lifelong changes. So they do have those different products on the website. They have so many products at health food stores, but definitely have a specialist help you along the way. And again, this is about not when you have a disease, this is out to prevent diseases and improve your gut health and your elimination. So we talk about maximizing your mind, and we have talks on cravings. We're talking about maximizing your nutrition, but to help your gut health, you gotta move, right? The more you move, the more motility, meaning that your gut can push the food along the tube to get it out, right? And one of the best ways to exercise is with the Max T3, getting more tempo, changing the time of how you do your exercises, not just lifting weights up one, down one, up one, down one. Maybe you're going to go up one, down three, or up three, down one. You're going to add it with high intensity exercises so that you're changing the tempo, the timing, and then the type of exercise so that you're constantly working towards muscle confusion. It's so easy to do the same thing all the time. Yes, we want to walk, but if that's all you do, that's not enough, right? And the actual national standard just to maintain so you're not getting worse is 30 minutes 5 days a week. 30 minutes 5 days a week of exercise is the absolute minimum. And that is not enough just to walk 30 minutes 5 days a week. That might be a start, but if you need help in this area, talk to our team. We'll help design you a program, or talk to a personal trainer, an athletic therapist, a physiotherapist, creating a proper exercise program to improve and work with this digestive system. Now, sweating, guys, this is good. Sweating, you want to be able to get the toxins out in order to improve your overall health. And if you're toxic more if your sweat stinks. Okay. So it gets to the point, I know that you don't need deodorant, for example. You get to the point where your body system is eliminating well. So if you're sweating through the day, you're not needing deodorant. Your body is learning how to eliminate properly. This can also be done with hot and cold contrast bathing or showering to improve your elimination process, improve that sort of detox systems. So definitely talking to the naturopath to find out what's best for you. When we talk about those toxins and gut health, lots of talks that we did on this, but the toxins are everywhere, folks. Whether it's your cleaning products, whether it's what you sit on, whether it's the processed foods that we might purchase, different types of cosmetics are not regulated at all. Just what we breathe in, being around smokers, or having a toxic habit. So all of these gut-wrenching toxins can affect our gut health. And some of it we can't control. We don't control all of our environmental concerns, but most of it we can control. We just need to get the right mindset, the right coaching to put the action steps in place, again, a little bit at a time. So let's focus on the positivity and focus what we can control to remove these toxins to improve our overall gut health. Now, we do have numerous talks that are specific to cosmetics, specific to toxins and cleaning products and processed food. So please visit some of our other talks on our website, on Facebook, on YouTube, because we're really trying to get that information out to you. So give your home a environmental cleanup. All right, take a look. Are there toxic products in your home? And then how can you swap? Just one at a time. So I'll give you an example. In our home, we do a lot of vinegar and for cleaning products, staying away from things like Lysol, Clorox. I grew up with, Pledge and Mr. Clean and Windex, so learning how that you can clean your windows very well with vinegar. So trying to make some of those changes, and maybe it's just one at a time or just less often, with some of the harsher chemicals, and then using the more gentle environmental chemicals that are healthier for you, for your family, more often. There are different groups, the environmental working group that you can contact, use their site to be able to test and read about the products that you're using in your home. Now we're talking about that mindset, right? Maximize your mind, maximize your nutrition, maximize your nervous system, maximize your exercise, and minimize your toxins. Well, we know with that mindset that when we're stressed, we make the worst choices, right? That's when we go for the ice cream or the chips or whatever. If it's in the home, that's the problem, right? So the first step is don't have it in your house, because then you're not having to quick find. You actually have to drive out and get that toxic substances. And we know when we're under stress, our belly feels worse. Pretty much everything feels worse. So stress management is helped with mind body control with our naturopaths, learning more about mental health with our naturopaths. And we're having a talk on mental health coming up, but learning ways to manage stress. And that can be with your whole team, with our naturopaths, with our massage therapists, our acupuncturists, and our chiropractors. When we have a healthy response to stress, our brain, gut, nervous system functions better, right? We have less of those butterflies, less of that upset stomach, or more energy, less pain. We know that if we have improper function, we're stressed out, we tighten up, shoulders tighten up, our belly tightens up. So everything cramps up, and it affects our digestion, affects our overall function for our body. So what chiropractors do is help with the spine and nervous system to remove stress, to help that overall structure so that our brain and body connects better. And you'll see in this picture, this is a manual adjustment, but we also do adjustments with instruments called an activator and arthrostim that are very gentle for those that may be nervous, those who might have different diseases, different bone conditions like osteoporosis, or they're young like infants and children. So we have different techniques to customize to you and what your comfort zone is and what your bone health is like, in order to help that spine function better, because we know that the spine controls everything. Where the nerves in your neck might affect your hands, might affect your digestion, might affect your thyroid, might affect your blood pressure. Right from the top, we have what's called your vagus nerve, the wandering nerve, and it will go all the way down and affect things from hiccups to burping to your digestive system. So we want to make sure, especially those nerves at the top, are functioning well. So what chiropractors do, they're specialists in finding subluxations. Those are misalignments, areas where it's twisted or turned when the spine is not moving properly, and it compresses on those nerves that exit. So it takes pressure on that nervous system. And our goal is to remove stress in the body, improve function. So by removing subluxations, our entire nervous system can function better. There are warning signs for subluxations, and whether it's headaches or blood pressure or digestion concerns or numbness and tingling, loss of energy, moods. All of these are warning signs that we might be subluxated. And that's just like getting your stool and your elimination reviewed with your naturopath on a regular basis. We all need to make sure we have our nervous system checked. The biggest challenge is we don't have symptoms at all, or we don't know that they're related to our spine nervous system or related to our digestive system and our elimination processes. So today, we're all about test, don't guess. Get your spinal checkup done. Get your digestive system evaluated. Have these conversations. Create the best team for your overall health. And Dr. Udani and myself, we believe in overall health, in prevention, being proactive versus reactive. So we want to be on your team, and we offer complimentary consultations. That's a meet and greet. So you have no pressure, no financial obligation. to see if this is a relationship that's going to work for you. Is this something you're going to feel comfortable with? And you test, don't guess, and you can find out what are the best steps for you. So both of us offer complimentary meet and greet, opportunity to ask questions to see, are you having digestive concerns? Are you having nervous system concerns? I see many, many patients that once they're getting rid of that stress in the spine and nervous system, reducing their overall stress, their digestion improves. And that's definitely helped if you are putting the right gas in. So take a look if you have warning signs, but if you don't, still take a look and make sure that your spine, nervous system, digestive systems are functioning well. Remember, as Dr. Udani said, one of the signs are skin signs, and that's related to your digestive system, not just pain. Pain is only 10% of our nervous system. So 90% of our nervous system is controlling other things. And many of these warning signs are not pain. And I know our whole body, our society says, if there's no pain, leave it, but really we want to make sure we're taking action steps prior to pain. That is the best way we can function in our lives for ourselves and for our family. So stay tuned with us. We have lots and lots of information. Next talk coming up, we're talking about mental health, improving those affirmations, improving how we can start a day with energy, improving dopamine fasting. So that's like how we try and get that quick fix in our lives to get that quick rush. How do we help with that? Improving with irritable bowel and cravings. All of these go together. So stay tuned. Remember, if you just get one thing each time, you're better off, and share them with friends and family. So connect with us. We'd love to connect with you. If you have questions, always ask. Create those opportunities for meet and greets for yourself and your families. And we look forward to being with you again soon. At the Justine Blaine Wellness Center, our mission truly is to make a difference, to help all ages, and help you live with better quality, quantity to live your full potential.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Hope you learned a lot, and stay tuned for more.
Awesome.